Party 1019, New York's number one for throwbacks.
Hello, and welcome to Tany Talks Live. This is episode 2, and you guys picked the topics, and you guys spoke about talking about forgiveness, which I think is really interesting. And I some people that know how to forgive or find it in their hearts to forgive. And I have her here today, Miss Savannah Hannah is in the building with us. She is a rapper, and I like to think of her very much as a motivational speaker. I found out about her on Instagram because she always has really, really positive things to say. That I was like, oh, that'd be a great person to have on Tany Talks to talk about forgiveness because you're so enlightening. Let's talk about what forgiveness actually is, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're going to look into it from the dictionary. An voluntary process in which one may have felt initially wronged, victimized, harmed, or hurt, and goes through the process of changing their feelings and attitude regarding the given offender, and overcomes the impact of the offenses, flaws, or mistakes, including negative emotions or resentment. I find that really hard sometimes because I know a lot of times when people hurt us, we want to hurt them back, or you want to seek revenge, or you don't want to forgive, right? Like this thing is just completely not. So in your opinion, what do you feel like forgiveness is?
Yeah, I think exactly like what that definition said, like, going through something, but basically, like, coming to peace with yourself about the situation. Right. And I feel like first, like, you forgive yourself before you forgive the actual person.
I was just going to mention that,
Yeah, because I feel like with forgiveness, it's really just, like, it's really internal, to be honest. It's you're forgiving this person so you can move on with your life, ultimately. So it's like, I feel like it's hard, but it's necessary, or else you're just,
I agree. A lot of the times I feel like when we look into forgiveness, we're like, oh, I have to forgive you for you and all the things you've done. But in reality, I feel like it's really you forgiving yourself for allowing whatever they did to bother you so much.
Exactly, yeah. So,
yeah, and I feel like a lot of the times people don't look at it in those ways, right?
Yeah.
And I also think it's depending on who hurts us, right?
That is true,
like,
too.
I don't think we need to forgive anyone who's a stranger who's hurt us because we can care less. Like, we're not seeking forgiveness from randoms, It's
usually somebody close to you, like...
Right, and I
which
think...
sucks, but yeah.
Depending on who it is, right? The way you forgive would be different. I think sometimes when it comes to forgiveness, you might need time.
Yeah. No, yeah. It takes time to really forgive somebody for real.
It does, because, like, if somebody has hurt you or made you feel any kind of way, you initially think about it. You're like, you know what? I'm not ready yet. Because it took me a moment where it's like, okay, they're like, oh, you should forgive. Like, I need time. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people forget that forgiveness does take time, and everybody's time frame is different. Depending on who it is and what happened.
Exactly.
I don't think there's anyone out there that something has happened to them and they're instantly like, sorry. But then again, it depends on, like, the small things.
Right.
Like, if I'm walking down the street and I bump into you, oh, I'm sorry,
It's like, okay, cool. Like, I'll let you rock.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Like, like, little things like that. But then it comes to, like, bigger things. Like, how do you go about, like, forgiving a friend?
Yeah, forgiving a friend. I feel like... I think you have to really, like, that's when you have to play the game, like the balance scale, like, do the good outweigh the bad.
Right. You got to do the pros and the cons list.
Yeah, if you always are having to forgive your friend for something they doing, is it worth it at that point? Like, like, is it really your friend? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, why I'm always having to forgive you for? Like, why are you always doing something to me? But if it's something like a first offense, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll let you slide, potentially, depending on what it is. But if it's something that's like a deal breaker... So that would be a conversation, once again, that you would have with yourself. What is my boundaries? Like,
That's true.
Right. So it's not just that I'm not forgiving you, but you crossed the boundary. I can forgive you, but sometimes it's over. Sometimes it's, so I've forgiven people and let them go. So I'm like, that's like a thing that I've done a lot because I'm real big on forgiveness. Like, contrary to popular belief, everybody feels like, you might be like, it's better if you kind of hold the grudge thing. Like, that's like the thing nowadays, especially like with our generation and stuff, is like,
oh, they did
I'm
that
mad.
to you? You
yeah,
could never.
Yeah, oh, I'm going to get my luck back. How they be saying?
Get my luck
back. So it's like, it's real childish, I feel. Like, I have to forgive you for me to move on. That's just how I am. So
yeah, because I feel like for me, like, if I'm feeling a sense of hurt, it's heavy.
Yeah.
It weighs on me, literally.
It is
like,
heavy.
I'm just like, I'm walking around with this heaviness, like, oh, this person did me so wrong. Like, I do need time, and eventually I will speak to that person. Because that's how I go about forgiveness. It's like, you know what, I need to give it some time.
Right.
And then reach out to that person and just kind of be like, hey, you know what you did kind of got me tired.
Right.
You know, kind of got me mad. But depending on the person, like, let's say if it's a friend and it's a long friend, I'd be like, hey, I need to understand why it happened, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's a conversation that needs to be had. I'm a closure kind of person. If you did me wrong, I'm going to hit you and be like, but why you did that, though? Like,
I want to know the depth of the situation.
Yeah, I need to know. When it comes to a friend,
yeah,
right? Especially,
that is true.
like, I kind of need to know, like, you know, if it's someone I feel like that has done me dirty over and over again, they're like an associate, but not so much, I'll just leave it alone. Like, you know what? That's just who they are.
It ain't working.
It ain't working. But when it comes to, like, friends and stuff like that, it's like, okay, I need to know, girl, because I'm losing sleep. I'm the type of person, I would lose sleep over stuff like that when people hurt me, because I'm such a, like...
Even your friends and stuff too, huh?
Yeah, I would lose sleep over it because, like, I'm so, like, nice and stuff like that.
That's like having a pure heart, though.
And I just be like, but why did they do that to me? Like, I just need, I'm one of those people, like, I need to know why you did me dirty. Yeah. Why did you do these things to me? And so once I figure out what it is, then I have a better understanding of why they did what they did. Maybe they didn't. Yeah. They didn't know they didn't mean to hurt you. Because I feel like a lot of the times, like I would say 75% of the time, people really don't really mean to hurt you. Yeah. And I feel like we have to remember that.
Yeah. I've had different experiences, but I feel like you said, like, you know, you want to get down to the nitty gritty. Like, I used to be like that, but that part of me, like, it diminished a long time ago. I don't care. So, like, I feel like it's unfortunate, but, like, yeah, you have, like, I don't hold grudges, like I said, but I'm not going to give you too many times where you're going to, like, mess up with me at this point in my life at the big age that I'm at. But when I was younger, yeah, my friends was my everything. Like, I will always be trying to keep everybody cool and make sure we're all good. Like, but no, yeah, after a certain amount of time, yeah, girl, that done left alone.
Forgiveness also, I feel like, comes with, like, healing.
Yeah.
Right? Because I feel like as we grow and we become people, and we want to be better people, we have to look inside of ourselves and learn how to, like, forgive people. Like, we can't keep living and moving on and wanting, like, a happy life when we're sitting here like, I will never forget that girl in 7th grade.
They did this to me.
And then, like,
girl, yeah.
You're looking at every girl going forward in your life for, like, those flaws.
That's bitter. Yeah, that's scary.
You know,
it's like the point nobody wants to be at at all. Like, but I feel like, you know, I don't know. You just have to really respect yourself too. Like, so
I think it has to have self-respect because, like you were saying, like, you have to have boundaries.
Yeah, I was like mommy friend. Like, I was super not possessive of my friends, but, like, I just wanted my friends to kind of, you know, like, just, like, hello, like, I'm like that friend, like, girl, what's wrong with you? Like,
but I think my thing is because I didn't set that boundary.
But that too, though.
That was my fault. I kept allowing her to have so much input on certain things.
And input, yeah. It'll be like, for example, because I've had that happen with friends where, like, I have a friend that's confiding in me about something toxic that they're going through or whatever, i.e. And then, like, they'll go through it and I'll be there for them. And then, like, when it's good, they're like, okay, you could back off now. But it's like, if you beef with, you know, you got a problem, that problem is still here, girl.
like, I still feel it.
But that's why I said that I fell back from the super tight friend thing because I'm too old. Like, I'm too old. And then on top of that, I'm passionate. So, like, I get hurt when my friends are hurt. Whether they're good, when they're good or not, that hurt is going to linger within me.
In that particular situation, I can't, I love you enough to forgive you, but I can't mess with you no more.
Okay, yeah.
You know? And then there are those relationships where I can forgive you and let's move forward.
Okay.
Right? And I think with those particular situations, I would say are more family situations.
Yeah.
So how would you go about forgiving family? Because you know how they always be saying, it's your family, it's your mom, it's your dad.
I don't care about
that's your sister, that's your brother, that's your cousin.
Y'all
blood, y'all gotta stay together. You know how that goes.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah. Same thing you said, like forgiving and forgetting. Like, I forgive you, but I don't forget. Same rule applies for every human being on this planet. For me.
So
yeah. There's none of that. So, and I love my family though. Don't get me, wrong. But I feel like if you really grease me, nah. Like I just don't trust you. I still don't trust you.
But I find it hard. Like the one person I feel like I can constantly forgive no matter how much stupidness that they do over and over and over again is my sister. I'm gonna be honest.
Your
Like,
sister.
that's my ride or die. Like, but you know how some people are like, oh, I don't care who you are. Like, not for nothing. That girl right there got a piece that it just don't matter what she do. I'm going, like, I'm gonna tell her about herself. We're not gonna talk. I found myself cutting my sister off recently, right? And then
for 2 seconds.
I called her for something and I forgot I was mad at her. After I got off the phone, I asked her a question and I hung up. And after I got off the phone, I was like, dang, I forgot I was not talking to this girl. No more. And I just was like, I just can't be upset with her. Like, granted, she gets me. No, we beef. Like,
y'all be beefing,
we will fist
y'all close
fight.
in age? Y'all
Yeah.
close? All right, that's why, too.
You know, like, but that's my life.
That's your best
partner,
friend.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Literally my best friend. I would honestly say that. But like, it be hard with her sometimes. Like, because she got kids, I got kids. Sometimes we go so hard, we hit below the belts. We talk about each other kids, bro. And that's where it really gets really bad. It's just like, all right, you're talking about my kids, and I'm talking about her kids and how she raising her kids, and I'm raising my kid. No, for real.
No, I know probably be intense. I'm thinking about it.
Like, sisters, you will cut so deep.
Yeah.
And hurt, like, you know how to get them.
Nah, yeah, family is intense, those type of fights.
You know
it gets
how
real
to get
beneath
them.
the belt, like with your family. That's not okay, though, still.
Yeah.
It's not okay. People have to be held accountable for their actions. But like you said, it's your sister. I have a brother that's like the same age as me. We're really close, but like, he's my heart. He knows like what not to say to me, and like we have that super respect, but we also used to fight a lot as kids. So we grew up loving on each other because we did all our fighting growing up. Like bad fist fight and everything.
For real.
It was rough, but like I feel like as adults, like we have like this really beautiful respect for each other where we know like, okay, like don't do that or don't say that. But I feel like that's still you like standing up for yourself though, no matter what. Even if it's a sister, brother, I love you with all my heart, but like you hurt my feelings. You said something that was like really intense, and no matter what, it's gonna make you kind of sit home and think about that or go to sleep at night and be like, dang, man. Like,
it's so weird when I go to forgive my sister because we're so weird. Like, we don't even really, sometimes we don't even have that discussion. Remember how I kept saying how I need closure? Sometimes I don't even need the closure from my sister. It's like an unspoken.
That's family vibes right there, though. It's like that with family.
Like, I told you, me and my sister, we weren't talking, then I called her and I asked her like a question about something, and the next day she called me, asked me a question, and we never.
Y'all don't even touch back on that situation.
No, or when we do touch back, it'll be a time like we're hanging out together. Or like,
okay.
And she'll be like, oh, remember when you did that? I ain't like that. Then I'm like, oh yeah, I ain't like when you did
Y'all
that
really
either.
love each other. Y'all really love each other.
But then it'd be like,
y'all really love each other, especially if like y'all don't go back on that or it just doesn't come up. It's like probably because it's just the love that's there.
And most of the time it's silliness.
Yeah.
Most of the
that
time
too,
it's
sisters and brothers fight about
ridiculousness.
anything. Yeah, I was gonna say
like,
that's kind of like it's different when it's like mom versus daughter and grandma versus aunt versus niece or sister versus sister, like it's gonna get grimy. Me and my brother. I have a brother. I have a little sister too. Yeah, but my brother is the one that's my age. Right. So he's the one I grew up with. Right. But like, it's grimy.
Do you think it's different between like forgiving a sister and a brother? Because I don't have a brother. Well, actually, no, I'm lying. I do have a little brother.
Okay,
but like we didn't go up. I be forgetting about him sometimes because he's like the same age as my daughter. So
okay, got you. No, yeah. He's like young.
So like,
is there a difference? Like,
between like sisterly forgiveness and like brotherly forgiveness.
Yo, that's a good question. I don't have no problems. Like me and my little sister, we don't ever bump heads in that way. But with a brother, I would assume it's different because the hormones and like woman on woman is always going to be more intense. I feel
like it would, right?
Yeah, I think it would. Because if I had a sister, because
I would think twice about fighting my brother. I wouldn't think twice about fighting my sister.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Like,
I wouldn't
fight
my brother now.
I'd
He's
be
too
like,
big.
yeah, he probably gonna knock me out.
I would think twice before I swing.
Like, yeah, girl, I could take you on.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Act up and get smacked up.
I think if it was a sister, it would be more like, all bets is off, for real. Because my brother is strong. I don't want no smoke with none of my brothers.
I'm telling you, tornadoes, like, but then again, it's like, she's also the person I go running to. And I'm also the person that she goes running to. Whenever me and her, like, in something really big, I'm calling my sister.
Toes behind each other.
I'm calling my sister. That's the first person
As
I am calling, and I am the first person she is calling all the time. And, you know, I find in my heart where I have like infinite forgiveness for that particular one person.
Well, she's special.
Yeah, because I will say I have other sisters too, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, and that's your dynamic. It's different if it's like you're like the calm, subtle sister that doesn't violate anybody and she's bombing you all day versus like a turn up versus a turn up. Like you go in on her, she go in on you. It's that's y'all understanding. That's who y'all are amongst each other. But what if it was like you're a sister who's unproblematic, you don't want problems, and she's bullying you, then it's like, okay, this is a little bit of a problem right here for real. Whether you my sister or not, I'm not on that timing with you and you're just hurting me. No, y'all be getting it rocking together, so that's cool. Yeah. Y'all get over it.
But I do hear some people like that I have friends with that are like, yo, my sister completely dead to me. And I don't know. I'm one of those friends that I'll be like, but that's your family, that's your blood, you know?
Yeah.
Some people will literally cut you off. Like no matter if you're a sibling or not.
Yeah.
Like you are literally dead to me. There is just something that you've done that just cannot be.
I know a lot of people like that. And I feel like I used to be more of the type of person. It was like, that's your family but like I feel like, man, some of the stories that I've heard from people that have been hurt by like a brother or it's bad.
No, some of the stories that I've heard
sometimes you gotta kind
of crazy. Like I knew situations where like a sibling like killed another sibling like on some stuff like like, you know, but it was on accident, you know what I mean? I didn't mean to like it was like we fought so bad like or we were beefing so much that it got to the point where like
somebody off the other person
and they were siblings.
That's
like,
too much.
No,
yeah,
for real.
And that's sad.
And
that's
it's super sad because it's like when it came down to the situation, it was like, oh, I didn't mean to.
That's scary.
You know what I mean?
People are bugged out.
And I also want to talk about like forgiving your parents, because that's a big thing for me. I had some rough patches with like my mom growing up and stuff like that.
I think most women with their mothers.
Yeah.
I think around like the 14 to like 20-year-old bracket, even arguably after that. Like, but I feel like that when you start getting older and conscious of life for real, then it's like, that's the beef right there that starts.
And, you know, but my mom is also one of those people that I always kind of forgive. But there's a lot of things that like she's done that's hurt me that it took me a while to express that to her, right? Because like my mom was like doing her thing super young growing up and she was doing her best, and I didn't realize that until I had like my own child, that I was like, you know what, I have to forgive my mom. And I never forget when I finally forgave everything she's done in my childhood when I was in labor in the hospital with my kid. And my mom was there with me, and I'm like sitting there in labor, and then I'm just like crying and getting super emotional. I'm like, the way that I feel for my kid, like how much I would protect them and do anything that I feel like is right. That's how my mother was doing. She really thought she was making the right decisions, and I can't be mad at her. But my whole life growing up, I was like, oh, why did you do that? Why did you do these decisions? Yeah. And it's like, those were her choices because that's what she thought was best.
That's what she thought,
You know, and I had to grow up, and I was sitting there not in labor, like, Ma, I love you, and I'm so sorry, like, for everything, and I forgive you for everything you ever done, because now that I'm about to go in and have my own daughter, like...
You could feel that connection and that instantly with your own kid. Like,
but some people are just like, I don't care if you birth me.
Nah, yeah.
You know
it depends what the problem is, though, too.
Yeah. Because, I mean, some parents are super foul, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so some parents, like, you know, they completely exit their kids' lives, too. Because I know a lot of people who are, like, you know, their parents are, like, dead to them. Or, like, I don't do my mom this and that, or my dad this and that.
Right.
And it's like, if you hear the circumstances, you would probably never speak to that person again either, just because it's that brutal. But, like, I feel like with your parents... If you, we need that bond. We do. Right. And a lot of us don't have that opportunity. Like a lot of people don't have the opportunity to have a close relationship with their mom or their dad. I had a really close relationship with my mom. My mom passed, but when I did have her, that was like my best friend. But, you know, like I went to her with everything. We had our falling outs, but it's like, that's so important. Like to not have that is really intense. To not have it while they're existing probably hurts even more.
Right.
Because to know that you have a mother that just does not deal with you for whatever reason and y'all don't have a bond, I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah.
That's deep. You know, but I do think like parents they struggle with accountability.
Right. Yeah. Right.
They can't really own up to the fact that like even though you thought like this was what it was, you were wrong. You damaged me. So now I'm dealing with this.
Oh my.
We can move forward, but you have to kind of acknowledge the fact that your thought was just not right. That's that, you know, but it's hard because it's like Parents don't like to acknowledge that they're wrong.
You know, and I've noticed that now that I am a parent.
Yeah.
That I'm constantly apologizing all the time for like times that I know that I've messed up. And I feel like growing up in the time that we did, like our parents never really apologized to us as kids.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or if I was
Not
a kid
much,
and I spoke up about something that my mom like did, I was wrong for it, or I'm being out of pocket, or I'm being disrespectful, and I'm talking to adults in a way that I shouldn't be talking
to them.
But it was like, Mom, like that really like bothered me, and I felt the need to say it, but I always was shunned about it. You know, where I felt like in a way like I could never kind of speak up. You know, when I felt like, you know, I was done wrong. You know what I mean?
True,
and I want, but you're a kid. You don't know. Stay in a child's place.
Nah,
you know what I mean?
never in a child's place when we're dealing with like parents that aren't stable.
Right.
What kid do you know is ever really in a child's place when they're dealing with parents that aren't in parents' place?
Or they just feel like, or parents feel like, oh, because you're a kid, you don't have
you
those
don't have
emotions.
a say so, yeah, or you shouldn't.
Or you're not entitled. Like what is love? What about anger? What are you upset about? You have nothing to be upset about. You're a kid.
Kids are smarter than what you think.
And
they know
everything. I feel like some parents, they do that. They feel like, okay, just because I'm a kid, I don't have the right to be angry. Just because I'm not paying bills, I don't have the right to be upset.
Come on, how delusional is that?
Like,
all right,
you know,
you hold on to all of that pain and you take it into your adulthood, and then now it's like, now you're doing this to other people. It's a cycle, an endless cycle of just toxicity. Right. But yeah, parents they don't want to take that accountability sometimes. Like my mom, I feel like I was very emotionally privileged. My mother was she apologized. You know, she made sure that she was always like checking in with me and making sure that I was mentally okay.
Because I feel like some parents, they just don't apologize. They don't feel like they need to apologize to their children.
Nah, yeah.
Even if they did wrong.
That sucks. Those type of parents, they need probably therapy or something, because it's a lot. They everywhere too, but you like, wonder why your kids don't want nothing to do with you, and it's like, bruh, like, seriously, would you want anything to do with you if you were like the opposite or another person? Would you want to deal with you? Yeah. Just think about that. You know, who would want to deal with that? Nobody. 9 times out of 10, everybody around them doesn't want to deal with them. If you notice, parents that like have toxic relationships with their kids have toxic relationships with everybody.
Everybody. Yep.
The man, the husband, or the wife, the cousin, the aunt. They have nobody. Right. Why don't you have anybody? Because it's you.
Right. Like, what is the common denominator?
See, it's hot. Nobody wants to talk about it, though. But the minute you look at yourself and you're like, and you genuinely can create a true sorry, a true apology, that it takes you really far. Like, you know, and it's so healing.
I think so, too. And I think forgiveness is definitely a big part of healing. Like, going forward, you know, you say, you know, I forgive you, I understand whatever it is. Or just, you know what? Whatever happened is not enough for me to lose this bond with you
forever.
Because a lot of times we fight battles that are not big battles to fight. You know, we don't have to fight every single battle that is brought to us. You know, just pick and choose your battles depending on who it is.
I agree with that too. Yeah.
And when I talk about forgiveness, I wanted to talk about some things that are unforgivable.
Okay.
So, in your opinion, what could someone do, cross the line, that you could be like, you know what, that's it, that is it? I could only really think of like one thing, a few things now as I'm thinking. But go ahead. What do you think is unforgivable?
I think anything could be forgiven. I do.
Anything?
I don't know. Like,
I feel like you're super nice.
Yeah, I just like, you know, I like try to be just like, you know, just think about God and stuff. Like, God forgives us for everything. Yeah. I feel like anything can be forgiven. I feel like there's just a lot of things I just wouldn't want to experience, you know, because it's harder to speak on them because, you know, I didn't go through them. So it's like sometimes I've seen people like hug like someone that murdered their kid like at a trial and like say they forgive them, and like that is crazy to me. But at the same time, I feel like if that brings you peace,
I respect those people. Honestly, I have a lot of respect for those people who could do that, because
it's
that's
scary.
One of the things for me is unforgivable. Like, not even the fact,
that's
God forbid, because let me just throw it out there.
God forbid, it's intense.
But if you do anything to, you don't even have to like kill my child. If you touch my kid, I will. Like, that's one thing that I will honestly say. Like, I pray. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, you could be my mom, and you touch my kid, it's
over
unforgivable.
For you. See, and you a mom, so like I don't have a kid. I don't know what that feels like, but I can only imagine.
You know, if someone asked me once before I had a kid, they were like, "Oh, would you ever like murder anyone or do anything like that?" I was like, "No, never. I would never touch a fly." And then I had a kid, and they were like, "Oh, would you ever murder anyone?" I wouldn't think twice about it when it came to my kid. Like, I wouldn't even, like, that's one signal that kind of goes off like without question.
Nah, yeah, it's your
Like,
baby, yeah.
You know, but then there also came a time where this one is tough, where my kid recently hurt me. And I was so heartbroken by it. And like sometimes you never think it'd be your own kids, but it'd be your own kids sometimes that do something to you.
Yeah.
And I know that my kid didn't know, right? Because when I asked her, she's like, "Oh, I didn't know that was gonna hurt you so bad." And I'm like, "That hurt me so bad. What you did hurt me so bad." But like, I love my daughter, and I want to cry like when I think about like how bad she hurt me. And I was like, I love you more than anything in this whole wide world.
Yeah.
More than the air that I breathe, everything that I ever do is always for you, and you did that to me. I kind of feel betrayed. And I needed like a week before I spoke to her. She went to her dad's and she came back. But I needed like a break from her, and I was just like, we spoke about it, and I knew I had to forgive her.
Yeah.
Because that's my everything.
Yeah, that's
my everything. So the fact that she hurt me, and I was kind of like hurt by it, but like you never realize as a parent when you get older, your kids are gonna do stuff that's gonna like hurt you, whether they realize it or not. You know? Mm-hmm. And you know, so that was one of the forgiveness parts that I was like, I never would have thought forgiving my kid, you know, would be one of those things. Yeah. You know, that you would have to kind of go through.
It's hard to forgive, period. Like you said, like there are things that do seem unforgivable, but like I don't know, like it's up to you as a person too.
Right.
You know, your growth process. I don't grow well when I'm holding grudges. I can do that too. I can be spicy and like either. But I hinder myself. I get real sad. I get depressed. Like I hold on to that pain. Like how you said you can't sleep at night, that's me. Like so if I'm hurt about something and I'm not forgiving somebody and I'm just like on timing, I can't relax like that. I don't know. I can't do it. So I will have to clear my mind. But yeah, it's tough. It is tough. It's hard to forgive at the same time.
It is hard to forgive because it was at a point, especially when you know you have to.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I can't just be like, you're not my kid anymore. I don't want you. I'm done with you. Like, I can't just be done. Like, there is no done with you.
Nah, it ain't no done.
I'm with you for life.
For life.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and your kid look like you and everything. Like, it's literally you. Like,
you know, so I was just like, you know what? I have to find it in my soul to forgive you, learn how to keep moving forward. Yeah. And understanding that, you know, there are times where people do hurt you. They don't mean to hurt you, you know. And just find it in your soul to, like, learn to tolerate them. That's good, though, how
you tell, like, you know, hey, you hurt me. That's so powerful. Like, you just saying, this hurt mommy or this hurt my feelings. I love you. That never leaves. There's stuff that my mom, that I've done and my mother that she sat me down and she's spoken to me and told me, like, yo, like, she's cried to me. And to this day, I regret those things to this day. You know what I'm saying? Aww. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, your kid will never forget those moments where you're vulnerable. Right. Most parents are just like a rock all the time, like, I'm tough, you know, and it's like, dude, like, you're human.
Right.
Be vulnerable so your kids know. That hurts more. A disappointed mom is like a mom that just looks at you and just be like,
you did me dirty.
Girl, I be like, oh, she disappointed in me. Like, that hits way harder than you beating me.
Right. And you know what it is sometimes, too? It's like, we never expect people to hurt us.
Yeah.
Right? We never think about it. And then when it happens, you be like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Because we never truly, I think, expect it unless you're this type of person that just thinks everybody's out to get you.
Yeah.
Which is weird vibes.
That is a little weird. That's a little negative.
There are people like that. So, I wanted to just look into the comments really quick and see what you guys had to say about forgiveness. I wanted to check out some. My sister's in the comment, which is funny. Hi, Santi. She goes, I'm not fighting my sisters too much. The energy is to be wasted. She's not wasting her energy on fighting us anymore. She's gonna put that energy That's my younger sister. She has the privilege of being like the youngest.
Oh my God.
So she's kind of like, you know.
She kind of just like spectating, like, okay, I don't have time.
She's like, yeah, they're weird. I don't know why those other ones are fighting. They're very
I'm in
strange.
my own zone. Like, yeah, right, exactly.
That is hilarious. So what we're gonna go ahead and do, y'all, is we're gonna cut into one of Savannah Hannah's really awesome songs and some really dope visuals for you guys. So what we're gonna play right now is Paw Print by Savannah Hannah. And when we come back, we're going to do her artist interview.
Yes.
Streaming online at party1019.com. This